Hey guys, this is AI Everything, and I'd like to talk to you about some compatibility issues when it comes to Dyson handheld vacuum cleaners. See, sometimes you run into scenarios where attachments that you would assume are compatible between different handheld vacuum cleaners actually happen to not be compatible. All right, so let's start with a simple rule of thumb. And this video is a little bit confusing. I've actually tried to record it several times, so please bear with me. All right. These are non-motorized basic attachments. This is a crevice tool, which is a simple nozzle. This is a combination tool, which is a nozzle or a brush. And this is a brush. Now, none of these are motorized, and all three will work with pretty much any of the Dyson handheld vacuums from, I'd say, the last 5 or 6 years. Matter of fact, here's an older one over here, the DC44, and I'll be talking about that in a moment. I have that off the table, though, to save you some confusion. The non-motorized pieces, those attachments should work with just about any of the handhelds. Now, once you start talking about the motorized attachments, then you run into some issues, and some of these issues you might not expect. I found a pretty glaring issue tonight. I was trying to review these two vacuum cleaners, and I wanted to compare them to this one kind of on a whim almost. Somebody loaned me this model back here at the last minute, and I said, okay, I'm going to throw that into the review. And I learned a very interesting incompatibility issue. And the reason why that's important is all three of these vacuums were released in the last 17 months, and two of them have very similar names. It is very easy to get confused on this. All right, so hopefully I do a really great job explaining this to you. All right, this is the V6 Absolute. It is the latest and greatest Dyson handheld. It came out this year in 2015. Dyson V6 Absolute. It might have come out at the end of 2014, don't quote me on that, but in May 2015, as of right now, this is the latest and greatest right here. This is a $600 vacuum, all right? Now, this was 2014's latest and greatest. It is the Dyson DC59 Motorhead, and over here it says Motorhead on it specifically, DC59 Motorhead. Now over here, released just 6 months prior, this is the plain old DC59 Animal. Now, here's what's interesting. Usually, if a Dyson handheld vacuum can run any of the motorized brush bars, it can run all of them in its generation. That's always been the case. I've been using these things for years. So now I made a video that's very popular on my channel that showed how the DC34 could run no motorized attachments, but the DC35 could, all right? But the DC44 and the DC35, remember, that's the 44 over there, and I took it off the table to make things simpler. But the DC44 and the DC35 could share motorized attachments. It wasn't a big deal. But for whatever reason, these three Dysons cannot perfectly share motorized attachments, and that's the point I want to make clear to you. So this is the current latest and greatest. This is last year's latest and greatest. All of their attachments are compatible. I'm using the term latest and greatest to make it as easy for you to remember what's compatible with what. So far, anything that's compatible on the as of May 2015, anything that's compatible on the V6 Absolute, anything that works with this unit, works with this unit, the DC59 Motorhead. Now here's where things get interesting. The DC59 Motorhead and the DC59 Animal, see how similar their names are? They're both DC59s. They came out 6 months apart from each other, and there wasn't that big of a price difference between them. There was about $100 price difference or so. I forget exactly. I'd have to look it up. But the Motorhead came with this much larger cleaning bar. Now see, the assembly is pretty large on the Animal, but the cleaner bar is actually very small by comparison. So what I learned tonight is the Motorhead bar, which by the way, it comes with the DC59 Motorhead and it comes with the V6 Absolute. That bar works on these two, all right? But it does not work on the Animal. And I found that to be really strange. Stranger still, this right here is the new I'm sorry, I always forget the name of it. It's a really boring name. It is the soft roller cleaner head. The soft roller cleaner head is a $130 attachment that comes with the V6 Absolute. And for some reason, now remember, this is the newest Dyson Handheld. This is the newest Dyson Handheld attachment as of May 2015. This right here works on all 3 vacuums. So the soft roller bar works on all 3 vacuums. But for some reason, the Motorhead brush bar does not work on the animal, and I can show you, all right? I learned this during a live demonstration I was doing earlier. So that's the Absolute, and it just made that bar spin. It just powered it. This here is, remember, that's the V6 Absolute. This right here is the DC59 Motorhead, and it has the Motorhead attachment on it. Works it with no problem. Over here is a DC59 Animal. Works that with no problem. So you take, now this is going to be hard to do with one hand and operate the camera, and I apologize. And I will, here, let me put this down. So let me show you, this is the newest, latest, and greatest attachment, a $130 lint roller bar. It's really good, by the way. I talked about that, and I showed a demonstration of it in the big review. It's about a half-hour review. This is just a quick showing of the incompatibility. All right, now watch. This is the lowly DC59 Animal. It's not the Motorhead. This is the Motorhead. This is the, like I said, the lowly, cheaper DC59 Animal. And it can power the soft roller. I'm going to call it the soft roller because for some reason I keep not remembering the actual name, and I've been not getting that name right all night. All right. So all 3 vacuums can use, sorry, I'm doing this with one hand. All 3 vacuums can use the soft roller bar. All 3. But for some reason, the DC59 Animal cannot power this bar right here, the Motorhead bar. See? It's not spinning. Now, I learned that when I was doing a live demonstration. So I was giving a review earlier tonight, and I was saying, I was really talking up about how great it is to share attachments between the 3 vacuum cleaners. And I figured out in the middle of my review that the Motorhead bar does not work on the Animal. Now, my only guess for this is maybe the Animal does not produce enough electrical power inside the actual handheld unit itself to operate this. I really can't think of any other reason why. And I swapped all of the wands. I did all of this in a live demonstration. It is a really long review. I haven't posted it yet. By the time you see this, it might be posted, but I'm doing all this recording tonight. I'm in a studio tonight that I had to borrow, and I have been just recording nonstop for several hours now. All right, so here's the deal. To clear it up, if you have a DC59 Animal, I regret to tell you, or any DC59 that is not a Motorhead, all right? If you have a DC59, but it is not a Motorhead, chances are really strong that the Motorhead attachment will not work for you. But the soft roller, let's see the name of it again. Soft roller cleaner head. Chances are really strong that the soft roller cleaner head should work for you. And this is an important distinction because a lot of times, maybe you get a Dyson and one of these handhelds and you like it, so then you get an extra one, or maybe you get, all right, let me give you a good example. Maybe you get the DC59 Motorhead, or maybe you even get the V6 Absolute, and you love them, and you decide that you want a second Dyson, but you don't want to pay $550 and you don't want to pay $600. You'd rather get the Animal, which is about $350 to $400 depending on where you catch it on sale. So sometimes you want to get a cheaper Dyson for your second Dyson. Or maybe you share parts and attachments with family members or friends. Or maybe you have one at work and you have one at home. There's a lot of reasons why you might be able to swap attachments. So what happens is maybe you have the V6 Absolute, or maybe you have a DC59 Motorhead, and you think, oh my goodness, I'm going to get the cheaper animal, and then from time to time I'll take the Motorhead part to work with me or wherever you're going to use it. It's not going to work for you. The Motorhead brush bar is not compatible with the DC59 animal, and I learned that tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do some research and find out why. I'm actually going to call Dyson, and it's late at night right now. I'm going to tell you right now. It's late at night. Dyson's not going to answer the phone. But when I get a chance, I'm going to ask them, and I'll edit that into the video, or I'll put it in the information box one way or the other. But just to let you know, if you have the V6 Absolute or the DC59 Motorhead or whatever the issue is, the two most recent, latest and greatest Dyson vacuums, all of their parts work together. They're all interchangeable. But this right here, the DC59 animal, and I'm assuming other DC59 models, even lesser models than the animal, if you will, probably cannot use that Motorhead attachment. Now, real quick, I'm going to show you this. This is not the first time that I've run into compatibility issues with Dyson handhelds, and that's why I make this video. The thing is, Dyson normally does not advertise on their website with big bold letters like, hey, these are the parts that are compatible with the different models. You normally have to find out the hard way, and it's not very fun to spend several hundreds of dollars on vacuum cleaners and learn this stuff the hard way. That's why I'm trying to make videos to help you out. All right, so this is a DC44. I've had it for a few years. This is the animal version of the DC44 right here. And this is the little bar, the little brush bar for working inside of a car. So check this out. It powers it just fine. No big deal. Just fine. But something happened when Dyson switched over to the new parts, okay? So the DC44 and the older DC35, which is not pictured here, the motorized parts were compatible with each other. But check this out. Hold on, I gotta put this down. Like I said, I don't have a camera person, and I apologize. So check this out. These little brush bars look very similar, do they not? They look very, very similar. You would be mistaken for thinking they would be compatible. But just so you know, the older, and I mean, you know, DC35, DC44, the older handhelds, those handhelds and the newer handhelds, their parts are not compatible whatsoever when it comes to the motorized stuff, okay? This is the new motorized bar, and what they did was there's two metal prongs there. That's what sends the electricity down to the motor, and there's a piece of plastic between the metal prongs. See that? You go over here, no piece of plastic in between there. This is the old one, my old dirty one I've had for several years now. No piece of plastic, so this goes on, no problem. I learned the hard way that these new parts do not work with the DC44 or the DC35. Oh, I gotta put it down, sorry. And we're almost done with this video. I appreciate you guys giving me so much patience. So, as you can guess, because there is a piece of plastic in between the metal prongs, you cannot even connect it, right? You literally cannot even share the parts between each other. And maybe they use different voltage, or I don't know. But you can see these are very similar. You would think they serve the same purpose, and you would think that they would be compatible between generations, but they are not. Oh, you can tell that the newer one has a bigger latch chunk out of it. The old one's got a narrower one. But honestly, if I just put these on the table in front of you, you would be forgiven for thinking that they're compatible, but they're not. So this is not the first time that Dyson parts that look like they could be compatible between machines just happen to not be compatible. Now, hopefully this has helped you out, and as I learn more and more issues, between handheld models, more of these compatibility issues, I will gladly share them with you. This is the kind of stuff that I Googled and could not find out for myself, and I had to find out the hard way. I had to get a product home, take it out of the box, start trying to swap parts, and find out it didn't work. Heck, you know how embarrassed I was, honestly, earlier? I'm doing a review of the 2 newer, latest and greatest vacuums, and I made this big show. I said, oh, this totally works. This is totally going to work on the animal. And it didn't work. It just didn't. I don't know why. If I had to assume, like I said, I don't think this is putting out as much electricity. I'm going to ask Dyson about it. But if you know of any compatibility issues that you've run into in the past, feel free to share them in the comments. I strongly believe in an exchange and sharing of knowledge. I think that's one of the good things the internet can be for. And hopefully this video has helped you guys out. And if you have any questions about any products, it doesn't have to be Dyson. I would love to try to help you if I can. I do really, really enjoy looking into things like this and doing product demonstrations and reviews. Again, this has been AI Everything. My YouTube channel right now is AI Politics 2 because I used to really be into politics, but now I'm into everything to include product reviews. And thank you for watching. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Y'all have a good day, a good night, a good afternoon, or whatever time of day it is for you. Thank you very much.